Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a new Amazon FBA product research technique for finding products in 2022 that will make $100,000 plus. Now stick around to the end because there's some explaining I have to do on just how this technique works and what it means to make that kind of money on Amazon. It's not what you would think. So that sounds like something you're interested in watching. Be sure to stick around to the end. Be sure to like and subscribe down below. But other than that, let's get right into it. So this all starts on Helium 10. If you don't have Helium 10 already, you do need it to follow along with the video. If you want to use my channel as a resource, you don't really want a course. I have hundreds of videos you could use for free. But the one thing you do need to pay for would be Helium 10. Kind of guides you through checking out product markets, seeing how much products are making in sales, and just kind of a crucial tool for everything I could think of. So there'll be a link down below. You get a discount if you use that link, so it's better than just going directly to Helium 10 and buying it. So you'll have a discount every month. We'll go to Black Box here, and now the fun begins. Right, so head over to the keyword section of Black Box, and we're going to start looking for a product market. Now we're looking for a market, not just a specific product, for a very specific reason. So in the beginning of this video, I told you we're going to be finding products for 2022 that can make $100,000. Now, the product might not make you $100,000 in the traditional sense, but what we're doing is we're trying to build a brand to sell it. So my goal with Amazon is to build brands in each category and then sell them for 7 figures plus. Now, I'm still on the road of doing that with my first official brand that I used to just do kind of like a general store with no kind of vision for the storefront, just sell whatever looked good. And that was my Java product storefront. I stopped doing that last year, and I have been since then working on this new brand with my business partner, and we specialize in just one category. We're really focused on packaging. We're really focused on brand presence and brand awareness, and growing that in a specific space, right? I think like 3 days ago, I did like $1,000. Yesterday, I think we were at $600, probably at like $300-400 so far today. Still early, but we're trying to grow this to something that can make a couple $1,000s a day, so that a company that wants to acquire businesses will pay $1 million for it, $2 million for it. And that's where we really plan on taking money out of the business. To this day, we are more focused on scaling than taking money out. And that's really how you have to be in the beginning, right? It's like a lot of people want to like just pull money out right away. That's not really how it should work. I mean, you should really be pumping this thing up with the goal of selling, and that's just my opinion. So when I say one product might make you $100,000, I mean, in the long run, once you sell that business, that will maybe, if you sell it for $500,000, you have 5 products, that product might have equated to $100,000 worth of your payout. Now that's just the minimum, right? We can go up from there. Our goal with this brand is a $10 million sellout. Not a sellout, but buyout. It sounds kind of weird when you say it that way. Anyway, let's get into it. So keep that in mind and try and set your goals a little higher based on that, guys. Like, this is something that you can do. Just start putting in a little bit more research, spend more time on branding. And if you have any questions about that, I do one-on-one calls as well. So for like stuff you need to just dig in, ask me specific questions about your brand or the direction of your business, more than happy to spend some time with you. There will be a link for my Patreon down below. I think it says one-on-one. So search volume, we're going to go 1,300, and then max we're gonna go probably just under 15,000. So the new way of doing this for me is I don't care if one specific thing has a small amount of search volume, because there will be inevitably 20 to 50 more keywords related to that one product that have search volume as well. In general, I do want a slightly bigger market in 2022, because with my goal of selling this brand either in 2023 or 2024, 2022 being mostly a growth year, I want a few amount of products that do a higher amount of revenue. So it's kind of flipped from what my old criteria used to be in some way. I don't want to sell my brand with 20 products. It's almost devaluing it, because it's harder to get acquired if you have more products. Ideally, they just want 1 or 2 products. I don't think I'm going to do 1 or 2, but I'll probably have less than 5, all from one manufacturer. So that's the importance of building a brand in a space where everything's connected. Each product relates to the next one. There's not a ridiculous number of products, a ridiculous number of brand names and logos. It's all tied together. It's all really neat, really clean. You've done a really good job keeping track of your books and your numbers and your contacts, everything. So we're trying to simplify that. Monthly revenue, We're going to go ahead and we're going to put a minimum of probably about $6,000 and then a maximum of maybe $40,000. Price, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do around 23. I don't really like selling in that 15 to 18 range too much anymore. A lot of the products in there, I have a hard time securing a good profit margin on them. Just something you learn over time. You think that you could get away with it, the more you do it, you see that it keeps not working. So ideally, I want higher margins on my products. I know some people are cool with making less, but again, just as I continue to sell, as I continue to scale brands, my favorite products are the ones with the highest margins, and it's just, why would you not want all your products to be like that? So price, maximum, we could throw a maximum in here. You don't have to. You do maybe $119 or something. We don't want to go too high necessarily. Review count, minimum of probably 10 or something, and then a maximum of, I kind of freestyle this, so it's a little bit different every time I do it, and you're just playing off of what you know about what you're looking for. So I want to get you to the point where you see that as well. Play with these numbers in a way that you're using them intuitively and you're not just using them as a guideline and really strict, right? So know why you're changing certain things, and you get better at that by just doing it a lot, like I said. So get the software, start using it a lot, and you get to that point. Categories. This is where you really only want to pick one or two, right? Pick what relates to your brand. I would go maybe home and kitchen, kitchen and dining, and then like office products. Could even do tools and home improvement. That all might be kind of in the same place, but for the most part, if we just did this, right? Kitchen and dining, office products, home. What is that brand? That's home. Okay, we could generalize that because kitchen and dining is in a home. Office products, especially in the last 2 years, home offices are huge. And then obviously home and kitchen is home. So if that's kind of your really broadest sense of what your brand is, it's home goods, then not literally home goods, the store, but goods for your home. So that's pretty much it. I don't think I would select too much else here, to be honest. A little sip of coffee, and we'll hit search. Now, while this is loading, I have a small homework assignment for you if you're up to it. Try and find 3 products that could go into your hypothetical new brand, or if you already have a brand, try and find 3 products that fit into it appropriately. All right, so we're gonna scroll down through here, and obviously there's a couple things we want to keep in mind. We don't want anything that is seasonal or too seasonal. If it's like good through March through November, that's pretty long season, so there might be something there, and then you could fill in the gaps with the other times a year. But for the most part, we don't want seasonal. We don't obviously want anything with intellectual property issues, like Hello Kitty is, intellectual property. Someone owns that. We want, in general, kind of generic products that we can improve in some way. And that's where we really come into some of these new strategies, right? Improving and barriers to entry. We'll touch on that more in another video. I have another video coming out this week specifically about like high quality US made goods and how to come across those things. I'm working on that right now in my brand. So we'll be talking about that. So stick around, make sure you subscribe down below. But keep in mind, if you don't have a brand yet, this still applies to you. So if you could do this before you even know what you want to sell. That's kind of how we came across what we wanted to sell, my business partner and I, and where we wanted to base our brand around was we started with market research, and we said, what's the perfect fit for us and our interests, what we're good at, what we're skilled at as a team, how we fill in the gaps, and what you're good at, what I'm good at, creative wise. And so for something like Train Decor, I mean, that could be a whole brand. You could have 5 products in the Train Decor space that could easily sell as a brand for $1 million. You'd be really surprised. It doesn't have to be something that's on a top level, like cool, like a sporting outgoods brand or like a camping brand or, Yeti coolers. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could be something as simple and as niche as Train Decor. So we could open that, right? So I'll open that in another tab and view that, and I'll open it up there and we'll come back to that one. Painting. So here's a good one. Anything that's too subjective, I wouldn't build a whole brand around. So wall paintings for living room, you're selling art. Art is notoriously hard to sell. because it's subjective. There's so many different perspectives. There's so many points of use. If I sell a pocket knife organizer, if it organizes pocket knives and it has that utility and it does that well, no one's going to dispute whether it's a good product or not. It does the job well. Now, the only thing that's up for dispute comes back to design again. Is it a color that I like? Is it a material that I like? Maybe I wanted a black one in steel and they're selling a rustic wooden one. So that's not going to fit for me. But the utility of the product is there. Whereas paintings, it's just all subjective. It's all based on perspective. It's going to be very hard to consistently do well there. If you put up 100 paintings, 6 or 7 of them might do great, and they might really do great. But I don't want to try and list 100 products to find 6 or 7 great ones. So I actually do like this one, Pocket Knife Organizer. Let's check that out. Again, any one of these could be a whole brand that has 3 to 5 products in it. So we barely made it down a page. I mean, you can see how effective this tool is. Granted, we don't know if we're going to have a branded product in either of these, but it's incredibly useful to have something like Helium 10 to do your product research with. So let's check this out. This is just train decor. Now think about this for a second. This is not apparently seasonal, but what's really popular around the holiday season, specifically the winter holiday season? Trains, right? Trains kind of have like, there's Polar Express and there's this kind of attachment culturally to trains around the holiday season with the train going around the Christmas tree or whatever it is. So keep that in mind. There could be some seasonality here, and I would want to look at something like a Google Trends report, search term report of some kind, and see if December train decor goes way through the roof. And the rest of the year, that's probably not something you want to sell, but let's check it out for now. A lot of people that just like trains in general could be good. So let's see here. And again, when I look through here, really all I'm looking for is who has relatively high sales with relatively low reviews, under 200 or 300. That's going to help me see, okay, there's someone who recently put up a listing here that's doing well. That might be a space that's open to innovation and new listings popping up. We want to eventually be more than just a new listing. We want to be a long-term branded product that's known for selling in that category. That's kind of the whole point. And so what I'm seeing a lot of here, when we look at the train decor search trend, it's just going up and up and up through December. And all the ones that are selling the best are related to the holidays in some way. So we're going to move on from this one. Now, Pocket Knife Organizer, however, doesn't remind me of the holidays at all. Doesn't seem particularly seasonal to me. It seems like if you were to create a better product here, the kind of people that would be using this would be maybe collectors. There's a massive number of knives here. This certainly isn't for the average user. So keep that in mind. Now you have a target audience in mind. Now we know that a premium product might work here if it's for collectors. Like we look at something like this, $130, it only holds 4. Let's take a look at this. So again, we're going to open up X-Ray. And the whole goal of this now is just to see what the amount of revenue pouring into particular designs looks like. So again, we see, that $125 one is doing incredible. $75,000 in sales, 58 reviews. So exactly what I was kind of thinking from a branding perspective is what came to life here. Who is our target audience, right? It's probably a collector. And then would those people be willing to spend more to protect the things that they're collecting? Of course, right? So maybe when the market's saturated with just these cheap canvas bags with little elastics in it, we go in and we go high, right? We go premium wood, we go acrylic case covering it, dust protection, drawer, and it's twice as much, but we hit a different part of that audience. So as we go through here, I'm looking for which ones are doing the best. This one's doing really well. It's kind of the opposite side of the spectrum, and we will see that, of course. A lot of those are doing really well. 55 reviews, again, someone's doing really well. I think the reason they're doing well is they have one of the lower prices, but the all black looks good. It looks like it's a higher quality. So when I come through a market like this, I genuinely do think that I might be able to build a brand in a space like this. So what I could do is I could click into something like this, the one that we know is doing well. Let's go see what their brand looks like. So the Home in Hadfield store. Okay, cool. So they're doing this exactly kind of how I expected. They're making a whole brand off of, people would say, it's not pocket knives. What is it? No, it's organization for things that people care about in a premium way, right? Particularly, it looks like they're going more towards a male audience with the knives, the watches, the jewelry, the wallets, the drawers, the space for rings, right? This is really cool, and this is a good inspiration and a great way to explain what I'm talking about. So we go to the knife deck. Let's see, what do we have here? So we have a couple different products here. Looks like they mainly just have their black one and their walnut one. They have amazing photography. So this is a perfect example of what I want you focusing on over the next year, next 18 months, next 2 years. Build a brand that has incredible photography, incredible presence in a space, and think differently. We're not thinking about a product now, we're thinking about a brand. So the brand is organization in a high quality, premium, masculine way, I would say. The product then could now be watch holder, knife holder, wallet holder, key storage. Any of that stuff now fits in, and we broaden who our target audience is. It's a premium product for people looking to organize their goods, particularly men. All right, so then we can now build all of these products with one supplier. If they can make the pocket knife with the drawer, they can definitely make little spots for watches with the drawer and the acrylic case. Okay, so we keep to that mentality of we want to have 5 to 10 products, premium, branded, in a space, one supplier, get 18 months, 2 years of sales data, scale it, and then sell it. That's my strategy going forward, just to let you in a little bit about how I'm thinking about Amazon nowadays. Very different than what I used to do with general store and low quality products. I'm really obsessed with the idea of making a lot of money on the back end of selling the brand, and not worried so much about creating passive income every single day with every single product. That's still a viable option, and you can do that. I just think the vision instantly grows, right? Because if I want to make $10 million on Amazon, I'm probably going to have to sell $50 or $60 million worth of goods and have an incredible amount of overhead. Or I can sell $5 million worth of goods or $6 million worth of goods at a 30% margin, sell for 4x EBITDA. And if you have a really good brand in a really specific space, some people, you only get 2.5% EBITDA, 2.5 times EBITDA, but you can get up to 5x EBITDA in this space, particularly if you have what I'm talking about. So start from the goal backwards. Who gets 5x EBITDA? And then work down, and then how do I get myself into a position where I can sell my brand for that much? So if I can get to $2 million in profit over the course of, a year with $6 million in sales, and then sell for 5x that, okay, there's your $10 million sellout. And you might be able to do that in 4 years, 5 years. You get aggressive with your scaling, live like no one else now. So in the future, you could live like no one else, meaning like don't waste it on stupid cars, stupid watches, stupid this, stupid that. Like live humbly, get yourself an apartment, focus on your business for a couple of years. Then all of a sudden you're, a multi-millionaire. And it's actually just money in your bank that you don't have to worry about managing inventory. And then you take a portion of that, you go back in, you grow another brand, you do it the same way. So that's really my e-commerce strategy. I mean, I encourage you to subscribe, keep up with me over the next couple of years. I'm documenting this journey. Documented myself from going from living in, my mom's house as a teenager to moving across the country, getting my own apartment, growing my Amazon business in the traditional way of just making, a couple $100s a day with smaller products, not focusing too much on branding. And now I have this even higher goal of going, okay, I know that I could do this. I know that everyone that, has sold a $10 million business was eventually, felt like I did, like, oh, maybe I can't do this. It's a little bit over my head, and I'm sure you feel that way right now. But let me just tell you, you put in the work, think of the vision, start listening to people who've done it before you. You'll get there eventually. So thanks for sticking around to the end. I'll see you in the next video. Later.